Most people are more afraid of the ocean than the rainforest. Sharks, pressure, the dark. But the numbers do not agree with that fear. We have mapped more of the ocean floor than we have explored of the Amazon. One of these places still has entire groups of human beings living inside it that the rest of the world has never made contact with. It is not the ocean. The exploration gap. Roughly 26% of the world's ocean floor has now been mapped in some detail. The Amazon has not been mapped to that standard at all. Researchers studying Amazonian biodiversity recently found that entire regions, particularly near the borders of Peru, Venezuela, and Colombia, have never been formally surveyed. Some of these gaps cover areas the size of small countries. The reason is not lack of interest, it is terrain. A satellite can scan the ocean floor with sonar in days. The Amazon canopy blocks aerial scanning. The ground is frequently impassable, and large stretches have no roads, no rivers wide enough for boats, and no safe way to insert research teams. The ocean is difficult to reach because of depth. The Amazon is difficult to reach because almost nothing about it allows easy access at all. The discovery rate. In the deep ocean, a major expedition might describe 10 to 30 new species in a single trip after months of planning and millions of dollars in funding. In the Amazon, conservation researchers have documented that a new species is identified on average every other day. Not every year, every other day. Most of these go undocumented in mainstream science for years after their discovery because there are not enough researchers to process the volume. In 2024 alone, scientists confirmed a new species of green anaconda, potentially the largest snake species ever recorded, in a region that had been visited by humans for centuries. It had simply never been formally studied. If a snake that large can remain undocumented in plain sight, the rainforest's capacity to hide things at a smaller scale is not really in question. The uncontacted tribes. This is where the comparison stops being abstract. There is no equivalent in the ocean to what exists in the Amazon. An estimated 100 uncontacted tribes are believed to be living inside the rainforest today, primarily within Brazil's Vale do Javari, a region roughly the size of Portugal that holds the highest concentration of isolated peoples on Earth. In July 2024, photographs emerged of the Mashco Piro tribe in Peru, showing more than 50 members on a riverbank, a sighting researchers estimated could represent only a fraction of a group as large as 150 people. These are not lost groups waiting to be found. They are choosing isolation, in most cases as a direct result of historical violence committed against their ancestors. Their continued existence, hidden from contact in a forest most of the modern world has never set foot in, is the single clearest piece of evidence for how much of the Amazon remains genuinely unexplored. The toxins. The ocean has venomous animals. The Amazon has an entire pharmacological ecosystem built around poison. Poison dart frogs secrete toxins potent enough to be used on hunting arrows by indigenous groups, with some species carrying enough toxin in their skin to be lethal to multiple adult humans. The frogs do not produce this poison naturally. They absorb it from the specific insects they eat in the wild. Frogs raised in captivity on a different diet lose their toxicity entirely within a generation. The plant strychnos, with roughly 500 known species in the region, has been used for centuries to create curare, a paralytic poison applied to arrow tips that causes asphyxiation by shutting down the respiratory muscles while the victim remains fully conscious. The ocean kills through pressure, predation, and drowning. The Amazon has spent millions of years engineering chemistry specifically designed to kill efficiently. The ambush predators. The deep ocean has the bobbit worm, an ambush predator that waits buried in sediment for prey to pass overhead. The Amazon has its land equivalent, and arguably a more effective one. The Anaconda hunts using the same fundamental strategy: submerged, motionless, almost invisible beneath murky river water, with only its eyes and nostrils above the surface. When prey comes within range, it strikes in under a second, wrapping and constricting with enough force to stop a victim's heart through pressure alone before any suffocation occurs. Jaguars use a different but equally calculated method. Rather than attacking the throat like most big cats, jaguars bite directly through the skull, an attack precise enough to kill almost instantly. Their bite force is strong enough to pierce turtle shells and caiman skulls. Both predators rely on patience and surprise rather than speed across open ground, the exact same strategy used by predators in the deep ocean's total darkness. The Singing Caves. This entry is not confirmed and should be treated as exactly that. Researchers and explorers in remote sections of the Amazon have reported caves that produce low, melodic, almost musical sounds with no identified source. Some explanations propose wind moving through complex underground tunnel systems, similar to how certain rock formations elsewhere produce sound. No formal scientific survey has confirmed the cause, largely because the specific locations are difficult to access and have not been prioritized for research funding. This remains an open question rather than a documented phenomenon. It is included here because it is a genuine unexplained report, not because it has been verified.
The tunnels. Also unconfirmed. Several explorers and researchers have documented unusually smooth, rounded tunnel systems found underground in parts of the Amazon, large enough in some cases for a person to walk through. One theory under consideration is that these were carved by extinct megafauna, giant ground sloths or armadillo-like creatures that existed in South America until roughly 10,000 years ago, since smaller versions of similar tunnels have been linked to their modern living relatives. Another theory suggests the tunnels are entirely natural, formed by ancient water erosion. Neither theory has been confirmed through dedicated excavation or dating. The tunnels exist. What created them does not currently have an agreed-upon answer.
The Lost Cities. Unlike the previous two entries, this one is confirmed. For decades, the dominant assumption was that the Amazon before European contact was almost entirely untouched wilderness. LIDAR scanning, a laser-based mapping technology capable of seeing through dense canopy from the air, has now confirmed multiple large ancient settlements, including cities attributed to the Casarabe culture, complete with pyramids, road networks, and engineered water systems, dating between 500 and 1400 AD. These were not small villages. Some sites suggest populations in the tens of thousands. Researchers now believe similar undiscovered sites likely exist throughout unsurveyed regions of the rainforest, hidden beneath centuries of overgrowth, waiting for the next area to be scanned.